This video, we're going to talk about the narcissist's devaluation, minimizing and invalidating feelings, word salad, and blame shifting. All right. So if you're worried that maybe this person, I'm not sure if they're a narcissist, I love them, I'm confused, my life's destroyed, and you're not really sure how to feel about the person, because likely your parents were like this. That's the point of this video. I'm here to help you understand and reinforce. Again, I've done this in a couple videos, but it's very important. And certain things narcissists do that normal, healthy people just don't do. And that's going to be the point of this video, talking about these topics, further reinforcing the idea, or reinforcing your healing, in that, if you were a victim of narcissistic abuse, there's a good chance that you had parents like that, possible codependency, and just blinders on these types of people. From all the way from, thinking you can take the most toxic person and getting them to change will win over, then you can heal your parents, right? Very typical trauma bonding notion, to just like having a healthy outlook on life, and just kind of, for whatever reason, thinking that some people, everyone has good in them. On one side, you're very likely to completely destroy yourself in your life. On the other side, you might just, eventually give up and be able to get away, because that person, I would argue, has stronger boundaries and has not necessarily blinders or a trauma bond, but might just be a good person that hasn't really come across many toxic people and people with severe personality disorders. So anyway, we're going to talk about it in this video. So I just want to start with word salad. That's one people don't really talk about that much. It's exceptionally annoying. And to me, it's like the Hail Mary of narcissistic blame shifting, and not necessarily blame shifting, but the Hail Mary of not looking at themselves and not actually talking about anything with substance, whether it's with their children or whether, especially with kids, because they want to, a kid wants that validation, and they want to actually probably, connect with their parents. And this is one my mom was just insane at. It's just, and the more of an issue I may have, it would just be let's say I broke my ankle or something and I'm in the hospital, and it'd just be like, oh, hi, did you see the Super Bowl's tomorrow? I like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's really good. Do you watch Super Bowl very much? It's like, I would watch it, but I'm actually in the hospital. I can't really watch the Super Bowl right now. I get my leg. Oh, well, yeah. Did you hear there's people that break their legs in the Super Bowl, and then football players, they're crazy because they break their ankles, and I'm going golfing today. It's almost cute, and I don't know why I think cute, because it's destructive, but on the spectrum of manipulation, it leans towards cute, versus the psychopath and them having very calculated things to say with a dull affect. The narcissist doing the word salad is almost like, I picture my mother doing that, and it's just an inability to look at anything serious. And this is just my personal relationship with my mom, is if I were to, if anything in her mind would be even alluding to her not being a decent parent, which I know in her deep down she knows she failed and she was a horrible parent and she continues to be one and selfish and all this crap. So if anything, again, with narcissism, the injury happens, whether it's an actual injury, narcissistic injury, where someone calls them out, or perceived. That's huge. Then that's the tricky thing with narcissism, is if they perceive that you may be trying to expose them or not give them all their, validation, all their, not capitulate with what their personality disorder, needs, then it can manifest in things like, word salad, which is just a way of diverting any kind of like semblance of a conversation. That's why I say cute, because it's like, in hindsight, it's very obvious. I would argue to a good portion of the population, it's not that obvious. But now I've done a lot of work, and that's why I say it's cute, because it's very childish, again, very toxic and manipulative, and I'm not trying to minimize anyone who's dealing with someone who's doing that to them, especially if it's their own mother. It's probably the worst person you could ask for to do that, because it's often in a very serious situation. But just know that, they can't meet your needs, and that's, I guess, where, these videos I tend to like start on a topic, but everything leans to another thing, just like in my brain. It's a trauma brain, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing word salad right now. No. I was raised with word salad. It makes it difficult to do these videos. So, having said that, having word saladed that, I immediately think about what's the, because I don't want to just talk about something without having a solution. And in that case, that is probably one of the best examples I have of, and for me, my personal healing journey and understanding that is the tool of Grey Rock, but more specifically, Grey Rock is more of an idea of like just not, taking your emotion out of it. But a more specific term, which is a game changer for me, is the observe, not absorb. Observe, but don't absorb. A narcissist wants you to absorb their pain, absorb their emotions. You're basically playing hot potato with emotions. They have bad regulation. They can't regulate. They have a very maladaptive way of regulating, i.e., subtle digs to people, getting, being abusive to get reaction. Then they exist and all that. And so too, that's where I totally, this is probably the biggest thing I ever underestimated in life is counting, like not reacting. I thought reactivity showed, and that's the sickness of the narcissistic family, right? Is reacting. You think like, if I react, that I can tell them how much I care, but my reaction should let them know, like, look, I care. Like, you should love me. Like, look at it, I'm crying, I'm freaking out. Like, because what you did was so bad. They don't care about what they did. They just care about how you reacted. That's a sickness. And that reaction, and you giving them that, gave them their supply, their love, the only way that they have learned to get their needs met, get their validation, and get their love adjacent. Love, I don't know the best way to describe that. It's like love through manipulation. But they win. And I never understood how important it is to not, every second after a direct jab from a narcissist, every second you wait before reacting, every second you are quiet, you are just gaining more control, gaining more power for yourself, and taking away power from them. And I just never, it took me 35 years. It is unbelievable. Especially with all the history of trauma. Anyway, so yeah, don't absorb. My mom used to call it owning people's problems, and I always thought that was virtuous. And again, I use the word cute because me and my mom, I think, I don't consider myself a narcissist, and less now than ever. I've done the work. I probably was one, or at least trying to be one. That was what I was shown my whole life. And my point is that, her and I are not the evil, sadistic side of the family, because there is the sadistic and the evil, and that's the other side of the family. And not excusing her actions, but when she said, I just own people's problems, it makes me think, that there is a little bit of like codependency, not codependency, but like the vulnerable narcissist in there. It's not as malignant, it's not as, lack of empathy, although it is. But the empathy that's lacking is to protect, I would argue, and this is why titles can be damaging, because not all narcissists are the same, not all psychopaths. Like, we are all still people. These are personality disorders. These are cluster B. They're maladaptive. They're harmful, and they're stigmatized. And the stigma can really, it can do harm. And having said that, I would argue with people like my mother, it is the sadism, the lack of empathy. Sadism's too strong a word, but the lack of empathy that sometimes manifests in hurting another person is not the priority. It is the last attempt. It is and maybe I'm just making excuses, but this is the way I see it, and maybe I just also know really, really bad people, that is like kind of it's an unawareness, but also like a very insecure and almost like it's a tiny, like my mom would describe it, it's like, I never did anything bad anyway. The worst I ever did was I gave someone the small fork at dinner, versus like a psychopath will cut your tires, ruin your life, like literally try to destroy you because they're that afraid of being, the mask being lifted, and they genuinely have no empathy. And not only will they, if they can, they will, but they really hope you let them. That's the difference. And I don't think, narcissists are like that by and large. Like they're, you're talking about psychopathy and sociopathy, and when you get to that level of sadism. So I got all off topic. Typical me, making excuses for people that I haven't talked to in years, to the interwebs. I just got to make excuses for everybody, but I think it is the strongest. It is, it is power, to understand these disorders. It is a really good way to grow and grow up from being raised by these types of people, because to the degree that you can differentiate, that's another game changer for me. Jerry Wise, look him up. That guy, he's doing content that no one else is, and that was a game changer. The differentiation, self-differentiation, where you're able to. The idea is just individuate. It's like individuation from Carl Jung, same idea, but based more in the concept of a toxic family system versus just as a person in life and being your authentic best self. The result's the same, but the framing's different. And self-differentiation is a game changer when it comes to fighting back against people like this. And yeah, I hope this video helped. If you are struggling with, you know, doing the work, depending on where you are in the healing process, it can be very confusing. And again, grace, give yourself grace. Everyone's story is different. Everyone's time frame is different. If you're in this video, there's a really good chance that, you know, it was narcissistic abuse, and in which case it's not your fault. You know, these blinders happen early in, early life, and trauma bond is a real brutal thing and concept. And just give yourself grace, and hope this video helped those of you who are having trouble moving on from the person you loved so much and hurt you so bad. And you know, these are sick people, and there's nothing shameful or nothing to be guilty about for taking the time, gray rocking, no contacting, whatever it takes for you to focus on yourself, because you deserve it. And I just hope you find, healthy people, to build a better, more fulfilling, more calm, more peaceful life, because that's what it's all about. Anyway, have a good one. Hang in there.